Welcome to Conversations That Matter, away from that as well. Well, let's talk about branding and the importance of that phenomenon and how, what you make of it. I'm too sure for those of you who are ardent viewers of TV Africa, you've come across this conversation with this particular guest, and so it's only okay to want to rehash it for those of you who do not understand what branding is. It's not just about change of logo, because I mean, so we'll get to tell ourselves. So she has the longest name in the world, and that's what I wanted to do, and so I'm going to mention the name. Nana Alexis Akosua Obenewa Opoku Ajiman. That's the longest name in Africa. Like,
that's so long.
Are you sure?
Yes, I know that's not true.
Okay.
There are people who have lengthier ones than mine.
Okay, anyways. Well, she's personality life coach and brand strategist, and she joins us for some conversation. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Again, you're on this branding agenda. Why is it necessary at all, Charlie? We're talking about beans and gobe issues. Why do you want us to talk about branding?
I want us to talk about branding because it's quite important to our existence. That's because for TV Africa, without branding, you won't be where you are now. Okay. Yourself, myself, without branding, we won't be at where we are. And so it's important that people realize that your identity is everything, and then you don't want to just quash it. Branding, that, like you said, is not just the logo that you splashed or the color you've put in somewhere. No. It's just the experience people have when they leave you, the things they share, it becomes what you refer to as branding. And so it's important that every individual, no matter where you find yourself, be it in the family, at church, wherever, you should realize that you have an identity to protect. So when you're moving at it, okay, I'm not going with these people because I do not stand for that kind of identity. And so it's important that you protect it irrespective of where you find yourself.
I see. And you've had a lot of people, since you started, what was I'm too sure you had observed some gaps in there for which you want to bridge. Yes. You think you're doing so?
Yes. For those we consult for on the levels of brand consultancy, we've been able to understand that the general mindset of what branding was just, okay, put in some lines somewhere. I want a logo, I want a website. I just think my business should be somehow all over the place. But is there a structure to it? So there's a conversation around your brand imaging, and then the ability to be able to have a brand manual. For businesses, yes, it's ideal that you have a manual. For human beings, even your identity, it's necessary that you have a manual for what you want to be. Someone wants to sound British. The other person wants to sound American. The other person wants to sound perhaps Ga or even Ashanti. It's an identity you are building. So it's necessary that you have a mantra. So it's quite important that we've realized that there was that loophole where people felt it's just the lines and the circles and the logos that people see. But beyond it is another conversation. You want to represent your brand at the right space with the right people so you can get the right eyeballs looking at whatever you're doing as a business or as an individual.
I see.
So yes, we saw the gap. We've seen what people are doing. We've been able to change the conversation. We've been able to change the narrative of what branding should look like. And so far, so good.
I see. Today we understand is it National Tourism Day? World Tourism Day, actually. Yeah. You think that we've done so much with our image outside? Forgive me, I have to put you on this.
That's absolutely fine. For the Ghanaian brand out there, I think we are trying. Okay. So far, the awareness has been keen. You realize that within the last 3 to 4 years, there are a number of activities that have shot Ghana up within the space of tourism. Example is the return, the year of return, and now beyond the return. There have been activities. Just over the weekend, there was the
Global Citizen.
Exactly. Which has brought a lot of eyeballs to Ghana. And then, unfortunate situation that happened that we all personally, I think it wasn't so necessary. If you know who you are and where you are going, the whole world was looking at Ghana. Was that a necessary identity we wanted people to see?
What exactly is that?
The booing. Obviously.
Pelosi had that too. Nancy Pelosi had that in the US.
It's absolutely fine. But if you were looking at the conversation of what was happening, majority of the youth who found themselves there did not really know what was happening. the agenda of the concert was not even known.
Yeah, so that's not
It was
their
just,
fault.
it is somewhat their fault because you got there for a reason.
Okay.
There was a conversation that was happening.
Okay.
Listen to the conversation.
Right.
When you are done, then you can do whatever you want. But you don't invite, you don't see the person come through and then that happens. But it's just an unfortunate situation.
Right.
That
I heard, we are not going to go into that, but I heard Professor Jampo, who had some very harsh words for those who had engaged in that. And then the issue of Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi, also came in to say, we're comparing ourselves to developed countries, the US. And the same thing happened, and she was booed. Again, yesterday, discussing all of these, I believed that the handlers didn't do the president well because mounting of electing and now the speeches when a lot of, just as you said, they didn't know why they were there.
Yes.
For them, they wanted to enjoy Asha and all that. So 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute, 30 seconds, you are
Exactly.
shoot it out there and then you are gone.
then again, you see,
Communication is-
branding. So within branding, we have
It's communication.
communication.
Yeah, indeed.
So whoever was in charge of the event
Absolutely.
should have at least given the proud notice to the youth. Okay, you know what? This is the agenda. This is what we are achieving. This comes. This comes. This comes. This comes. It's not just the producer's job to know what is coming up,
Indeed.
but whoever is coming on or into the show
Right.
should actually understand the kind of crowd you're meeting
Right.
and what to expect.
Right.
And
So let's
yeah.
let's quickly go back to the issue of the National Tourism Day. And so is the branding all about the activities and people getting to know of Ghana, or it goes beyond that and speaks even to impact?
Yes.
Because beyond that, when the people leave, what they take away is
It's
key.
everything. So like I said in the beginning, your brand or whatever people say about you is what is your brand. It's not just the logo. So after I've experienced you, the experience I go back to share with other people is what will tell. So someone might use close up and say, hey, you know what, that product, I'm not doing free adverts, but absolutely that
you
product.
just did.
Someone might have used a toothpaste, right? Let me correct that. Someone might have used a toothpaste and say, you know what, after my experience with that toothpaste, I think it's been good. I've got a good breath and XLB experience. And so I think you should give it a shot. That is referral. It is the experience the individual had that had pushed them to say, okay, you know what, let me refer this product to another person. And then it goes on and on and on. So if the experience was bad, obviously you are not getting any referral. That is why it's necessary and important for you to pay attention to whatever you are bringing out into the space. In the case of tourism, I'll say yes, the impact is big. Whoever is reporting for BBC, CNN, and the rest is taking away certain information that we never know how it's going to be narrated. And that is why it's important that we know as individuals what we stand for. It is true we are to be citizens and not spectators, but is that the approach? It's good that we want to avoid it. But how we go about it, is that the way it's supposed to be heard?
I see.
It forms part of the identity that we are looking at as brand.
So there's a Project You conference coming up, and a lot of faces out there. And the most important thing is that you want to impact.
Yes.
And who is to come?
Every young individual. Once you know you are going to become big, you have an identity you want to protect, you want to find who you really are and why you do the things that you do. So in introducing me, remember you mentioned that I'm a personality development coach. Beyond brand consulting, we do personality development, which is also touch a bit on the area of personal branding. And so if you are that individual looking to expand in that space, looking to even pick up a career within that space, confused about your courses that you're running in school, confused about your career paths, you want to even get into that marriage and you're not certain. There are individuals who are speaking to certain situations within that space. You can equally go on their website and then check. Some are willing to offer mentorships and whatnot. So you can just check on the Project U conference and then we can negotiate.
Talking about mentorship, where exactly must people look for mentorship? Because is it just any name at all? And so, I mean, Madam Opoku Agyeman is big, and so she can mentor me?
It's not always the case. You want to look at credibility.
Okay.
Is the person validated? What validation do they have? Have they gone through for training? That is important. You just don't want to deal with anybody. Professionals are always important to deal with. So they're able to teach you the exact techniques of how things actually are supposed to function. So if you're looking out for a mentor, you want to look at where they trained, how it has impacted their life, the people they've impacted, and how those people that they've impacted are equally impacting others, then you can say, okay, that person was really a good mentor.
I see some faces here. The names are, yes, some of them, yeah, you can, so just walk us through who are there.
So we have myself, I'm
Okay.
speaking. I have Jesse Ejapon, who is equally speaking. We have Gifty Owari
Okay.
Mensa, who is speaking from the National Service Secretariat.
Okay.
Because it's important that the youth identify who they really are. We have insurance, someone speaking on insurance and finance from Hollard. We have quite a number of people on the list.
I even see my good friend Hajide, Mr. Hajide.
Exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
I see. All right, so the most important thing is that the young people would have to be there to listen to.
And then it's a virtual event, so they
Okay.
don't necessarily have to be at the
Oh, okay,
venue.
okay.
They only subscribe on the website, and then we are good to go.
Oh, okay, so you can be everywhere,
Everywhere,
and
yes.
connect. I see. So we're talking largely branding and, yeah, so that's the key thing we're talking about, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, so there's road to self-discovery and intentional living. Oh, I see. Well, that's exciting. That excites me. Intentional living.
Yes.
You
Like
think
I
that-
said, you see the youth, what they did? They were not being intentional.
Yeah, Hoa. Would this is
It will never go away because they were not intentional. I am looking at the fact that the whole world is looking at you. Do you understand the impact of Global Citizen Festival? Do you know who is watching? Do you know the pledges that are being made? What is actually being solved at the end of the day? People didn't know. I can tell you about 80% of the individuals that were there were clueless. Because if you know that action, you wouldn't do it.
I just told you that the developed
Intentionality.
country also did it to someone. And so maybe it's of course.
What was the instance of they doing it to that someone?
Well, we only understand is a boo. A boo is a boo.
You see, it's necessary that you are intentional.
Right.
You just don't jump into what the crowd is doing.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So you are going to be teaching us how to be intentional. I understand that because a lot of us are doing a lot of things because of trends. We're doing things because a lot of our friends are also engaged in it, and so it's key to the. But is it not just one of those that you go? You get motivational speeches from people like you who speak well, and you walk away not equipped. Tell us that how you, because that has been one of the things I've been very concerned about. How you be equipped when you go to these places.
Okay, so in this conversation that we are having for Project You, it's not just a matter of having that experience for the day and that's it. We're able to follow through with every one of the attendees. So if you're filling the form, there are requests that there are things that we are requesting for.
Okay.
The reason is that we want to be able to follow through what you have been equipped with. And then the ability for you to actually select a mentor during the process of you listening, because every one of the people up there is actually ready to mentor somebody, and so they carry you on the journey of your success. So it's not like we're just doing that, having the conversation, you finish mentor. No. We're not looking at that kind of conversation at all. Because at the end of the day, we are helping you build a mantra, and the mantra is supposed to work with you. And so if the mantra is working with you, and you're working with a mantra, and then we are not going to be present in the equation, then why attend in the first place?
I see.
Yes. So in this situation, that is not the case. It's the reverse. We are actually looking at how we can be part of your process.
Okay.
We are going to mention the cases of why it's necessary to actually even go through failure.
Okay.
Because it is people don't talk about it, entrepreneurs don't talk about it, and we became successful and that's it. People are seeing a beautiful story. No. We want you to understand that you face challenges along the way, and when they happen, the most important thing is that you pick yourself up and you move, because we are doing it and it's working.
I see.
So if you're looking at it or you're emulating what you're doing, then it means that you can equally get to that destination.
That's exciting. I was speaking on a TEDx event, and then I don't know whether I was the first one to do that, to tell them my weakness as well.
Yes.
So as much as I have strengths and people feel that the guy is super, he's a Superman, I told them about my weakness.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, a lot more people asked questions about how I'm able to deal with the weakness.
Yes.
So 1st of October 2022 at the Bank of Ghana Auditorium, Project You conference is happening, and is the power of you.
Yeah.
Sounds like An advert? No, that's not exactly it. So you can register at www.projectuconference.com. Go there for the attendees who want to join virtually. That's where you can go register,
It's
right?
actually virtual for all attendees.
Oh, okay.
All
Okay.
attendees.
So it's virtual. So www.projectuconference. You is like you like you. Projectuconference.com. So just quickly go there. You get all of it. So there are two sessions: the empowerment session and the panel session.
Yes.
Talk us through that lastly before we go.
The panel, the empowerment session is having individuals speak at the problems that we've mentioned.
Okay.
So we're talking about my failures. Yes, you see me here today. I'm not just here. It happened through that process. And I believe that using the mantra I used, it worked. You can actually tweak it here and there, and then that's it. So we have resources during this. It's just like the TED conversation that you mentioned.
Okay.
And then we move into the panel discussion where we have stakeholders within the space of youth development, speaking at the actual problems to why psychologically, spiritually, mentally, people are not actually prepared to actually live an intentional life.
I see.
And so we speak at to the exact problems that we are facing during that period.
Wherever you are, so connect 1st of October 2022 Project U Conference is happening. Tell you a big woman.
I receive it.
To be able to connect all these people.
I receive it.
Hey, big go. So all of you connect. Let's see how we can intentionally put together the things over. So I like the name. I only want to mention Beniwa Opokwajim. That's because I had issues mentioning it. I had to, So thank you very much indeed
Thank
for
you
coming.
for having me.
We are always here to support. Well,